Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you guys could join me today. We're going to be working on the next DIY art kit. We're going to paint these together, and this is going to be Hang 10. So you're going to have two pieces in this art kit. There's a surfboard and then like a little island. This is what it looks like. We're going to work on those today. If you do not have those or you want to purchase them, they are available on my website. I have it linked below. So it's a beautiful day in Florida today. When I videoed the other day, it was pouring down the rain, but today seemed to be a beach day. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so before we get started, make sure you grab some clean water. I use this sponge. I just get it wet. It helps when you get paint on your hands. Get a dry paper towel and something to cover your surface. This is your art kit. This is the way it's going to come to you if you purchase these and they get shipped to you through the mail. Everything is included in here for you to paint this little project. It usually takes anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours, completely once it's dry and you're able to place it on your refrigerator. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to open the package. You're going to pull out everything. Here you'll find the little island with the sun. It already has your magnets in place. You're going to have a little surfboard. It has its magnet in place. This is in a little mesh bag to help protect it in shipping. You're going to have two brushes. You're going to have a flat brush, and you are going to have a liner brush for the little spaces. And then, of course, you're going to have all your paints that you need to paint this project. And the most important thing, you're going to have your reference card and your art instructions are on the back. And if you want to pull this video up later and watch it, you can pause it, you can stop it, you can work your way through as we're painting these together. Go ahead and pull your paints out. You're also going to have a little sealer. This is a non-toxic sealer. If you want, you don't have to once the project's done. I mean, it's advisable to keep the paint from chipping, but you don't have to put that on there. It's entirely up to you. So go ahead and pull your art pieces out of their package. Maybe if I can see where to open it. The package does pretty well, huh? Everything in my shop is done by hand in small batches. I don't have employees or anything, so it's just me. So I know that I do have some of these available where you don't have to wait for processing. On my website, I can go ahead and get those out to you very quickly, which could be the next day, within 1 to 2 days to get it out to you. If I do run out, then they have to be made to order, and that usually takes anywhere from 2 to 3 days. So let's get started. Okay, so the reference card here, let's start with this ocean water here on the bottom. You'll have like an ocean blue you'll be using for that. So you're going to want to dip your brush in the paint. We're just going to start painting this wave. You'll want to use your small liner brush to get down in the crevices when you're doing these projects. And if you want, like I've said before, you don't have to paint the back. You could always just seal the back with the sealer, just so it doesn't, chip away. Just preserves it a little better. I think that's what we're going to do with this one. Or we might choose to paint it a solid color. I mean, I haven't quite decided yet. And these are your projects. You don't have to necessarily go by what I'm suggesting. There's several colors in your set. You can choose to do this however you want to do it. Paint it whatever color you want. I've had so much fun painting these and working with this project. I had talked about before how it kind of reminds me of paper mache. I mean, it starts out as dust and water, kind of like a paper mache material, is flour and salt and water. But I just really have enjoyed painting them and making them. I've absolutely loved it. Okay, so we're going to change brushes. I'm actually going to move this water over here, guys. Sorry. Okay, all of your liner brushes that are in the kits, they come with this plastic cover, which helps to keep that tip nice and pointy. And if you want, you can always just dip it in the water to help with the pointiness. Okay, we're going to use this and get down. Just take your time when you're painting so close to the edge. Tell you what, it would have been a nice day to go to the beach. That's one thing about the ocean. It's very calming. You'll want to make sure you spread out all of your paint in nice even layers. Okay, while that's drying, we are going to move on to doing the sun. We'll come back and put a second coat on that. Right now, since this piece is pretty big, now the reference photo has it green. I don't really want it green. I'm gonna do mine yellow, like the sun. So I included yellow in your kit if you would like to do it like the sun. I think that pop of color will just make it stand out even better. Painting fridge magnets with you guys on YouTube. and it makes me happy. I hope it makes you happy. Okay, let's see. Is this? Yes. This is dry. The one thing I love about these, because these are made of plaster, they absorb paint very quickly and they dry very quickly, which is nice, especially if you're working um, with this project. We are going to give this water a second coat. Okay. Okay. There's the ocean, painted blue. And you know what? There's actually another part of the ocean here that we need to finish as well, since we have this blue paint open. Make sure you're rinsing your brushes between each color. We're still working on the same color, so we're just going to keep going. Okay. Trade brushes. We're going to go to the liner brush because these are getting... Got to get around those. There's a little edge right here that you're going to want to try to paint. Okay. So we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to come back and give that a second coat. So the sun seems to be dry. Let's rinse these brushes out good. Close this paint pot up. Let's get out the yellow. We're going to work on our second coat on the sun. I've made over 50 trips around the sun. Like 54 to be exact. 54 trips around the sun. Over 5 decades. Wow, what an adventure. If you want, you do not have to do a second coat on these. You can, it's entirely up to you how you paint your little fridge magnet. If you just want to leave it with one coat, that's fine. 2 coats, that's fine. 3 coats, 4 coats, whatever you want to do. I'm just giving you the basic techniques. Just make sure you smooth out all your lines. Things don't look clumpy. You want clumpy paint all over your project. Okay. See how that's turning out? Okay. We're going to let that dry for a few minutes, and then we're going to come back and we'll work on the palm tree and the sand. So we're back, and this is dry. This has had 2 coats. This has had 2 coats. Now we're going to work on the sand, which is in the reference. But like I said, you don't have to, you don't have to paint it exactly like that. You can do whatever you want. Maybe you could mix the paint together and see what happens. Okay, flat brush, tan paint. Nice even strokes. Ooh. Looks like it's about time to change brushes. Yes, it is. Smooth this out. Oop. You're going to want to get as close to that blue as you can. Or not. You could, make it look like a little white ocean cap if you wanted to. And we have our lizard in the window again. There he is. He likes to hang out right there. I think he lives here. Looks like there's one. Couple of little white spots that need to get covered up. Okay, that's definitely going to need a second coat. Actually, I'm going to go back to the blue. And I'm going to do a second coat on this top wave that we didn't get earlier. We'll just blend it all in. Okay, all right. See? Very bright, sunny, and cheerful. Okay. So you've got two different colors of green. It's like a darker green and a lighter green because we're going to add dimensions onto the leaves, the palm tree leaves. Grab it here at the bottom. These fridge magnets are so cool because they're three-dimensional. It's not like a flat magnet that you just put on the fridge. And not only that, they just make cute little keepsakes. It's kind of like a, forever thing, really. Your kiddos are doing them, your grandkids are doing them with you. It's something that you cherish. You show off to your friends, your family. And they're fun to do. They're fun to do alone. They're fun to do with friends and family. They're fun to do with grandkids. Of course, making sure that you have some sort of adult supervision. I wouldn't necessarily just throw the paint set down and tell them to go to town. I mean, I guess you could if you're standing there. Because it does have some small parts. Work our way over here to this side. I have to get the liner brush out here in a few minutes. Oh, goodness. Still haven't quite decided whether or not I want to paint the back. I think I'm just going to seal it. Okay. We're going to move on to the liner brush because it's getting to where I gotta get down in these small cracks. You guys, these little projects are so fun. I hope you're enjoying painting these or watching if you're not painting. Okay, looks like we got it all. Okay, we're going to let that dry a little bit before we work on this trunk. Okay, we're back. This is dry. We're going to put brown down here on the trunk of this tree. I always get 2 cups of water, 2 waters, because sometimes the water gets pretty nasty if you're changing colors all the time. Always just grab 2 containers of water. Gives it that 3D look, doesn't it? It's pretty cool. And you could do this however you want. If you wanted to do the front, like the deep chocolate, and you do the back, this, or you could do the back, or the light brown and the deep brown. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to just go ahead and do the whole trunk brown. And then I think what we're going to do is I'm going to come back and do some details on it, actually. And of course, you're always going to use your flat, wide brush for the bigger areas. Be able to cover more area if at a time you use the flat brush. And then you can come back in with the liner brush and get all of the small areas, the hard to reach areas, which that is what we are going to do right now. We are going to change brushes. Okay, we're going to let that dry. And this is dry. The leaves are dry. So while that trunk is drying, I'm going to swap out this green, this lighter green, and we're going to start adding details to this. I'm going to start right here in the little indentions in the leaf. And then just maybe just brush on a little here on the front to give it some dimension. If you guys want to do it in a different way, you can. I'm just showing you how I would do it. And then just kind of continue on around, which, you know, gives the whole leaf some sort of highlights. And underneath. On the edges. Got little ripples underneath of the leaves on that side. Okay. Okay. So there we go. So the leaves have a little bit of dimension to them. We're going to let that dry. I'm going to put the lighter colored tan in the stripes on the tree. And remember, guys, this is just a reference. You can do this however you want. We still have one more piece to this video. Okay, so we're going to dip it in here, and I'm just going to highlight these like this. Okay, we're going to let that dry. I'm going to take some of this brown, and I am going to put some little dots in the sand. We're just going to work our way on around. Maybe throw some up here at the top. Just some random dots. I like that. I don't know, maybe we'll put some around the sleeve. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're going to set this one off to the side, and we are going to work on our surfboard next. Okay, so we have the surfboard, has its magnet already attached, and we're going to kind of match it to your island a little bit. So we're going to start off with this light mocha tan color. These pieces are slightly heavier, so there's 2 magnets on the back of them to hold them to your refrigerator. And we're just going to take this light brown and we're just going to cover this whole surfboard. Like I said, if you want, you can always do the back. And I tell you what, we'll just go ahead and do the back. Just don't get it on your magnet. If you get it on your magnet, it's just not going to stick. And if you do get it on your magnet, just like that, you can always use a wet paper towel to get it off. It's easy to come off. So you just get a wet paper, just get a wet paper towel and just, there you go, just like that. And then back to painting we go. One thing about these is they dry fairly quickly, just super great, especially if you're excited to paint it. Okay. All right. Dusty that up, straighten these lines out a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to let that dry for a few minutes before we put that second coat on, and then we'll put all of the details in it. Okay, we're back. The surfboard is dry. We are going to give this a second coat. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry for a few more minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to put the details on it. Okay, we're back, and this piece is dry. Now, you can follow, like I said, you can follow the reference, or you can just do your own style. So I'm going to take this brown, and we are going to make those bristles as flat as possible. Okay. Which, you know what, actually I'm going to start with this because I'm going to draw this line. And I'm just going to follow right at the top of this surfboard where it curves. I mean, if you want to, you can decorate your surfboard with flowers on it. You do whatever you want to do. It's your surfboard. Maybe we'll put some flowers on it. It's probably a great idea. Tropical flowers. Yeah. Actually, let's do that. Let's put some flowers. Let's do this. Let's just open these up. How about that? Let's just open all of them up. Okay, I'm going to start with, let's just draw a flower on here. How about that? Yeah, that's cute. Maybe let's put one up here. Now, if you're a guy doing this, you may not want it to look so girly, but you know, you can do the dark brown or the green. You know, you can make it more to your liking. And I'm going to put another one down here just to balance it out a little bit. That is cute. And you know what? I think we're just going to go ahead and add a few more over here on this side. Now, you can do your flowers however you want. Okay. Let's put one up here at the top. Here on the side. One down here at the bottom. Okay, there. We're going to go back and we're going to fill them in. Stay between the lines, like a coloring book. Just stay between the lines. I'm trying to paint this so you guys can see it and see what I'm doing. Just so you can get an idea of how you can do yours. But like I said, you can follow it along with the reference card, or you can just venture off the beaten path and do your own thing. We're venturing off the beaten path and we're going to do our own thing. At least when I'm painting, it's nice and calm. Okay, I think we got all the flowers painted. Those flowers are definitely going to need a second coat if you want them to be more vibrant than what they are. I want them to be more vibrant, so we will be back to paint them. Okay, we're back. I put a second coat on most of the flowers. You guys get the point of this. We'll just do these last few, and then we're going to move on to the leaves. And then at that point, I believe that these flowers will be dry enough to put the middle part in it. Okay, so with this turquoise, or this Laguna, it's actually the name of it, I'm going to run a stripe very, very carefully right down the middle. Okay, so we'll have to go back and do a few touch-ups. But anyway, there it is. We're going to let that dry, and we'll be back to do the middle and do some leaves. Okay, before we get started on putting the leaves and doing the middle part of the flower, I'm going to add a couple of stripes down this surfboard to make it, maybe to make it look like an old surfboard, like old wooden surfboard. And you know what? I think we're just going to go ahead and add it on around. It doesn't have to be as in depth, but just, you know, just to add some dimension in here. And you know what? We're going to add some right there to the top. And we're going to add a few on the bottom. Kind of run in the other direction. Yeah, there we go. There is one spot here that I need to fix where this paint kind of smeared a little bit. This light brown. Okay, all right. You see that? So these flowers are dry. I'm going to take this yellow and I'm just going to dab right here in the middle. Middle, just make a little circle. Make a little circle in the middle. Make big circle, little circle, whatever you want to do. Okay, did we get all of them? Yes, we did. There it is. Very cute. It's turning out very cute. Let's add a leaf. Maybe a couple of leaves. Close up that paint that we're not using so it doesn't dry out. Okay, let's do darker leaf first. We're just going to put one right here. Just like that. Maybe we'll put one right here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's put one here. Guess we'll put one down toward the bottom. I was thinking about putting it there off to the side, but it might interfere. Okay, and up here at the top, I think we're going to go this way with it. One toward the back. Ooh. We're just going to keep working our way around. One there. One there. I think we're going to go this way with this one. Take it in a different direction. Okay. Decide. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Where do we put it? Where do we put it? Okay. So, there we go. That turned out cute. And if you wanted to, I mean, you could, let's see. If you wanted to, you could add even more detail in the little flower. But for the sake of this video, I think we're just going to stop right there. You can add the sealer. That's going to be a good thing for you to do, is to add the sealer to your pieces so they don't get all scratched up. And there you go. Thank you for hanging with me and painting Hang 10. Surf's up. Enjoy your day. And don't forget to create a beautiful life.